Pathological narcissists, to understand them, we have to understand that I am talking about a specific psychological disorder. As I'll demonstrate in a few slides, I am not talking about the term narcissism. Pathological narcissists include 3 personality disorders: narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, which is sometimes known as sociopathy or psychopathy, sociopaths or psychopaths, and borderline personality disorder. In addition, it represents someone who is in full-fledged addiction. Independent of what their baseline personality is like, when you are in the throes of an addiction, you have the same behaviors of symptomology as someone who is a pathological narcissist. So now let's talk about narcissistic personality disorder. I'm going to talk about the personality disorders. NPD, as we're going to talk about today, has many different variations. But NPD is in our DSM, our Diagnostic Statistic Manual. It is categorized as a disorder, just like a physician has its medical manual that categorizes all other physical ailments. A person who has NPD has a one-sided relationship. It voids mutuality. They do not know how, they do not have the internal psychological constitution to want to take care of someone, to have empathy, to know how to predict what someone wants or needs. When they give something, when they do act generous, and we're going to discuss this when I talk about covert narcissists, because the narcissistic personality disorder needs and has always needed to have categories, and because not all narcissists are selfish, they're not all on the surface negative and harmful. Some can be very generous, but when a person with NPD is generous, there is always a string attached to it. They have limited empathy. They need all the eyes on them. They need the attention on them. When they can't get the attention or somehow get people to be interested in them, something happens inside of them and they feel very uncomfortable. They are vain. They are consumed with appearances. Now, not all pathological narcissists are gorgeous, beautiful, handsome, stunning. Appearances come in different shapes. It could come from the Corvette. Now, by the way, if you have a Corvette, it doesn't mean you're a pathological narcissist. It can come from the car. It can come from your purse. It is appearances. They're vain. They're consumed with their appearances. Whether it's the house, the car, their children, it's not always them. The child that gets straight A's, the child that looks impeccably beautiful, the child, they also live through other people as long as it's a reflection on them. And they will somehow find meaning in that subject as having to do with them. You can be talking about something and they will find something that you're talking about and they will go, me too, and they're off to the races. The primary symptoms include grandiosity. Everything that they do is the best. Everything that they do is superior. What makes a person grandiose is not the actual thing that they're describing that is great, but it's the exaggeration of their greatness. And when you run into the pathological narcissist who's grandiose, unless you're a codependent, then you're going to think they're great, and you're going to want to know more about them. They're the experts at everything. They have unrealistic and overblown appreciation for themselves. They're selfish. Perhaps the one key symptom that is probably, if I would have to pick one symptom of NPD that describes NPD the most, is selfishness. They're entitled. The entitled person needs to feel important and better than you. They're the ones that will jump in front of a line and act like it's no biggie. They're the ones that will be angry at a politician and want to call their congressman and want a visit with them and be angry that they're not answering the phone. They're the ones who get a traffic ticket and are writing down the police officer's badge number and complaining. And they're the ones that you go out to dinner with that don't like the way their steak is cooked and then humiliate and start berating the waitress because they think that they are entitled to hurt others when their needs are not met. They are self-centered and egotistic. It's always about them. I call it it's called me Tourette's. A person with me Tourette's, everything's about them. You talk about something, it's about them. It's how that affected them. It's how they experienced it. It's how they didn't get what they wanted or they got what they wanted. The World Series is about them. The news is about them. Everything is about them. And it's not an official diagnosis, but if you do have Tourette's syndrome, and that is a serious, real medical disorder, and I do not want to make fun of it. They know it all. They know everything. You get into a conversation with them, and they are at the center of that conversation, and they are starting to quote their expertise. Now, what makes it especially annoying is they don't always know it all, but they assume they know it all. What makes it also annoying is when they do know it all. Not because they take control of the conversation and they assume that because they are the expert of any given subject, they deserve to be the center of the conversation. They've done it all, they've known it all, they've gone wherever you've gone, or they're going to go wherever you go. They have an insatiable need for affirmations or compliments. They need to be seen, heard, and appreciated. And it's never enough. It is as if they set up any conversation so that the person can respond with an affirmation. They are absolutely brilliant in that. So everyone can be talking about their kids, whatever is a conversation du jour. They will bring up a conversation and they will intuitively know how to bring it back to them and talk about something that they did where they've excelled in. And the smart and the savvy narcissists know how to extract the compliment or the affirmation, and they can't get enough. They're judgmental. They are always better. They are smarter. They will listen to someone talk, whether it's a newscast, whether it's politics, whether it's someone on YouTube, a colleague. They always know it as well. They know it better, and they're critical. Their criticism is not based in wanting to give someone constructive feedback, but in feeling superior to them, entitled, grandiose, and judgmental. Narcissists actually feel threatened. They have a feeling inside of them when someone is successful. They are prone to jealousy. The narcissist feels threatened, like they're being judged by someone else's accomplishment. And denial. I stole this from someone. Denial is an acronym. Don't even know I am lying. Even though it's a joke, it accurately describes what denial is, because they're lying to themselves. They're lying to others. When they cannot or refuse to believe something that is negative about them, it is a way to be held accountable. It is a way to feel the shame and the self-contempt that pathological narcissists have. They are reactive to criticism or feedback. Okay, I want you guys to pick in your mind the most pathologically narcissistic person you know. You got that? Now I want you to either remember a time where you said directly, I think you're wrong, you made a mistake. It doesn't really go well. They are reactive to criticism and feedback. I don't recommend you telling a pathological narcissist they're wrong unless you have a backdoor or escape route. They blame others for their mistakes, and they feel threatened and react to other narcissists. They won't apologize. They react angrily and defensively to criticism. They are smug. They are judgmental. They are anxious and overreactive. They find any form of accountability or criticism very, very difficult to manage and handle. And they don't like each other. And typically, they're uncomfortable. They get irritated. They get anxious. And of course, narcissists tend to be with people on the other side of the continuum. They start talking to the other person about how wrong, how stupid, how senseless the other person is. But they don't do well when they talk to each other. If they are professionals and they're educated, they're not the same, professionals or they're educated, what you see is you see two people shutting down and acting like school-grade children and not saying anything. And you see the looks, the eye rolling. It is predictable, very predictable. You get a +5 and a +5 PNARC together. They will always feel uncomfortable with each other and have a shared experience of projection. They will see everything that is wrong with them that they can't accept and they will see it on the other person.